friends, it's Nicole Scott here from the Gorgeous Gray Movement YouTube channel, and I have a special guest on today, Dawne Sullivan. Hello.
Hi.
This is a dear friend of mine. We've kind of, I guess, connected through social media, like most of us, our new friends, right? Not the bar anymore. It's like social media. So Dawne is from Ontario, Canada. She's a holistic nutritionist. She focuses working with women with self-care. She's a mama bear to 2 teenagers. And sorry, guys, she's married and taken. So thank you, Dawne, for being here. I'm always loving to interview women that have transitioned. You and I have been talking and watching. I've been watching your transition for a long time, I think, since you started. Dawne, 19 months in, is that correct? 19 months?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, awesome. So let's just jump right in. Obviously, the first question that women will have is, why did you decide to go gray, silver, natural before your time?
Right.
For some reason, society thinks there's a time, right? Where maybe like we're in wheelchairs or a walker, and then that's our time. And there's a movement going on, and you got caught wind of this movement, and you obviously decided. So let's hear that story. I'd love to dive in.
Absolutely. And it's such an incredible movement. This has also become one of my passions. It's amazing. And you are definitely one of my inspirations. So I decided, I had been thinking about it for a while, and mostly for health reasons. I know how absolutely toxic dark hair dye is. And I'd been toying with it for a while. My husband actually was encouraging me, and I just wasn't quite ready. Of course, you know what hit, and everything closed down. So it made it very easy for me. I didn't want to do it at home. I'd been considering it anyway. And that's when I decided to start my transition. I had just turned 50, and I just felt like it was a good time to start. And so I started reaching out and looking for inspiration to keep me motivated. Your group was one of them. Your Insta was one of them. I started following the hashtag. It was a really great way to help keep me from falling back into the box of dye.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you found me and started following. And there's so many other wonderful leaders of the movement, right? So, I'm just one of them here from Canada, but there is movements happening all over. You can hashtag it like crazy. You can do gray hair, which is GREY, which is like the Canadian and English version. If you go GRAY, you get down to the American side. And I didn't know all this stuff. I kind of like forgot about the basic rules of grammar until I started to dive in. And I was like, oh, I guess we do say gray up here in Canada differently. And, it's like the tomato and tomato, but wherever you spell it, you'll find, amazing women online. So I love that you said that you just made a decision. Let's talk a little bit about the dangers of dye. You and I were both nutritionists. That was my reason too. I think you and I had the same color hair.
Yes.
We both had almost black hair. We had long hair. And we also had dark brows, naturally dark brows, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I did some microblading before I went, which I kind of have like almost like permanent, brown, because they were my original, because I never thought I would go gray. I'm getting a few grays that are popping in here. Like I got a few grays, but like they're still they're my natural color. And are people commenting at all between your brow and this, and, oh, you should lighten your brows? Because I'm getting that. I'm like, oh, you should lighten your brows. I'm like, but then you're asking me to like dye, like
exactly
dye. And I'm like, I don't want to dye anymore, right? Like I haven't dyed these in years. So
yeah, I haven't had that yet, but I'm not as white as I thought I would be initially. I still have a little bit more dark. It's amazing how you think you're going to be. It's actually kind of fun how you think you're going to turn out and how you actually turn out. So I haven't got there yet, but yeah, it was the health implications of dye and the cost. I was going every 4 weeks. I've had the same stylist for a long time. She works out of her home, and I very religiously booked my every 4 weeks appointments. But after 2 weeks, they were already showing through. So I was also using sprays and the powder and touch-ups. And so there was a very small window where I was actually enjoying my hair. And then plus all the chemicals that I was throwing on top of it. So I would like it better. Plus I was scheduling events around when I was having my hair done, and it became all consuming.
Right. All consuming, ladies. Can anybody relate to that? All consuming. What are some of the things that you have learned about the dangers of dye? What are they linked to?
Cancer. It's a huge endocrine disruptor.
Right.
Just all the chemicals, like if you read a box of dye, I wouldn't put those things in my mouth, but I'm putting them directly on my scalp, which is virtually the same thing. Right. And people don't realize that. They don't realize that skin's our largest organ. So anything that we're putting on it, it's exactly the same thing as putting it in your mouth. Yeah. And I was using everything else I use. I mean, I was making my own body creams. I was making my own body scrubs. I was using natural oils. And then every 4 weeks, and then the in-between stuff, I was putting something pretty close to my brain that was dangerous, and it wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that you said no, you jumped on this, beautiful movement that I think is not a fad. I don't think it's a trend.
Think so either.
I think that it's here to stay. I think women we're loud and proud, and we're just like not going to take it anymore. And I think there's a song.
Absolutely.
We're not going to take it. Maybe that's our new song that we need to bring to this movement, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about the decision because you went cold turkey.
Pretty much cold turkey.
Yeah.
So,
so give us details. What was your move?
So it was March of 2020 that I started. And as I said, I had just turned 50, and my hair was quite dark, not quite black, but it was pretty dark. So I grew it out till everything opened up again, the salons, and then just my ends I had highlighted just to kind of break up some of the contrast. And but other than that, I'm pretty much cold turkey. I use some of the colored shampoos and that type of thing, but not on my scalp, only on the ends. So it's not being absorbed. And other than that, I've pretty much just let it go. It was tough. The first few months, I mean, we were in lockdown, so that made it a little easier. And then we hit summer, so I could wear hats, but or braids or whatever I needed to do to kind of break up some of the contrast. But it was hard in the beginning. But like I said, this is a very loving community and so incredibly encouraging. Wherever you are in your transition, there's another woman out there going through exactly the same thing. And somebody said something to me and I said, well, there's days I like it and days I don't like it. And she said, that's just hair. Like, how much did you not like your hair before when you were having to dye and cover up and everything else? And I don't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, there's good days and bad days. Sometimes I walk by a mirror and think, who's that? But for the most part, this has been a positive experience. Absolutely. From, like I said, the women that have reached out online to being able to give encouragement to other people. It's been pretty awesome.
And your hair looks great. It looks like you're not fully growing
I'm not.
out, but
I
you
probably
have that nice, I don't know, contrast now.
It's kind of fun. I've actually enjoyed that part of it. I might be a little bit sad when I'm completely done, because I do like the different contrast, but I have a little of that anyway. And as I said, it always seems to change and morph depending on where you are. But I imagine I'll probably be around 2 years. But that was my other thing. I mean, the people that cut it off and do pixies and just go cold turkey that way, all the power to them. I couldn't do that because having long hair was more important to me than having one color. Right. So, but everybody's different. Like I said, there's a million other women out there that are probably going through virtually what you are too, and more than happy to give information. There's a bunch of different ways to do the transition now that I've learned about afterwards. So it's a pretty neat group.
That's awesome. Let's talk about, you said it was hard. What was hard about it? Let's go into the emotional component of what that represented, right? So you're a brunette most of your life, all of your life, right? Maybe a few dye jobs here and there. And then all of a sudden you're releasing this this, who you represent. Hair represents so much as a woman, right? So all of a sudden you're like, you're going through transformation, really, what we do as a woman. So talk about that. What was the hard? Women want to know what the hard was.
The hard was, I think the ageism part of it was definitely a hard part of it. I got a lot of backhanded compliments. It looks great, but I guess you can't help that it makes you look older. It looks great, but maybe you could consider doing this. So I got a lot of that. So I had to kind of swap the way my mind was thinking about it, that it wasn't an age thing as we thought. And I have a family of gray-haired women. I mean, my grandmother was white in her 20s. My dad was white in his 20s. So, I mean, I've been surrounded by it my whole life, but it was, I guess it was worrying it was going to make me look older, which I don't worry about anymore. The unkept part of it. So when you have white to here, once it got to look like it was intentional, it felt better. But the first couple of months where it just looked like I needed to have my roots dyed, it was that part of it that I felt like I wasn't put together. Made a little easier because we were in lockdown, but that part of it. So I did have to do a little bit of mindset work around it, because I guess I was feeling a little older. But once I got to a certain point, that just kind of faded away. And I've had so many compliments since that that's definitely helped. That's definitely helped.
I love that. And this is such, I think how you felt, how I felt very similar, is we have to ask more questions. Like, why did we feel unkept? Like, why did that show up for us? Was that because it was from the magazines? Was it from the TV? Was it from the way that we were growing up and hearing the comments of other people when other women, especially women? Oh my gosh. Like,
women are awful sometimes.
Right? I'm like, whoa down, women, like,
which is always
out.
about them, which is always about them.
Talk about that. So when a woman is criticizing,
I think
how can we process?
When anybody criticizes, it's always about their own insecurity. It's not because I think people are innately mean. It's they're projecting. It's something they're feeling about themselves that they're not willing to let go of. So they would just feel better if nobody else was either.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they want to take y'all down with them, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that they can justify their story.
Yes, exactly. Being able to justify why they aren't ready, which is cool. I mean, everybody's on a different path. So part of me was just like, you know what, forget it. Why are guys distinguished when they're silver and women are old? There's some damn sexy older women with gray hair out there. Lots and lots and lots. And it's about time that society embraced that. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being, that role model for other women, and, the fear, leaning into the fear, doing it, and now like just feeling really good. And is it on your mind all the time now, or do you have peace around that?
I have a lot of peace around it. Yeah. Like I said, there's the odd time you walk by a mirror and you're like, oh yeah, that's me now. Cool. But definitely there's a little bit of a thought to it, but I'm actually having fun with it. I mean, I'm wearing braids. There's different stuff on Pinterest you can do with it. It's fun. And I think that's why the long hair was important for me too, because I could do some of that as well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a hippie at heart. So it fits the vibe.
That's great. And is there any last minute comment or suggestion or tips that you can give the woman that is watching this interview right now and going, I think I want to do it. Give me that one last push me off the fence.
Just do it. You will not regret it. It is incredibly freeing. The money you save is crazy. And it's an amazing community. Come join us. It's a lot of fun here.
Awesome,
for sure.
Dawne, thank you so much. And you can follow Dawne Sullivan. So if you can see her name in the bottom corner, I'm going to spell it out and we're going to put it down in the link, but Dawne, that's Dawne. And then her last name, Sullivan. Find her on Instagram. She's a nutritionist. you want to be inspired by her movement, and reach out to her in regards to if you need a little bit more self-care, women, and you need a little help, you can reach out to Dawne, and she can definitely love on you hard, and have a discovery session with her to see if you guys might be a good fit. So Dawne, thank you for your time. I so appreciate it. And for all the women that are watching this video, make sure to tune into the Gorgeous Gray Movement, subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for a Facebook group, you can look us up, Gorgeous Gray Movement on Facebook, and just be part of a like-minded community. And thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Nicole.